Here, we have honest conversations about current events, life, business, and the decisions that shape how we think and how we live. Whether you're building something, questioning the narrative, or just trying to see the bigger picture, this space is for you. Now let's get into it. My name is Michael Bryant, and I'm here with my co-host, my lovely wife, Kayla Warden.
Hello, everybody.
How are you, babe? How are things?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing really good. We had an interesting week. Things are going well. The world itself is in a crazy place. It seems like prices are starting to go down, but everything else is starting to go up. Let's get right into it. Have you seen the Diddy documentary?
What episode were you on when I started watching it? Episode 4 or 5?
I was on like 3 or 4. Pretty much, the first episode is almost all of Sean Combs' upbringing, just getting to the point where he was able to reach fame and public accolade. But by the time you paid attention to it, it was already into the trial and the freak-offs, and it's just it's crazy because we're to the age where we lived through everything that happened in this documentary. Like, we saw it all, and to know that we used to be watching this guy dancing in music videos and award shows, and what he was doing behind closed doors is just absolutely crazy. The abuse to the women in his life, his mother, his romantic partners, his employees. I hate to say it, but it just shows you that you never know what people are doing behind closed doors, and evil is real. I hate to call anyone evil. I mean, the guy's a father, and that has probably done some good things, but 50 he did not take it easy on him. You know what I mean? He turned him into a punching bag. I know you don't know too much about the bad part of what he was doing, but tell me about Puff Daddy in your eyes. What do you think of Puff Daddy?
I think of 90s music when I think of Puff Daddy. I didn't know anything about any of like the trial or anything like that. I didn't follow it. I didn't really pay attention to it. But yeah, like you said, once I started tuning into the episode 4, I think it was like the nitty gritty of everything that was going on. I was like, I did not know any of this. I didn't know anything about Cassie. Like, I just know her for her famous one-hit wonder.
It's me and you. Crazy. 10 album deal. That's the only song we know.
Yeah, no, I need to go back and start from the beginning and really like watch it and pay attention.
Part of me wants to watch it again. Part of me's like, when's the next one coming out? There's got to be more. Like,
there's gonna be like a part 2.
Well, I think there should be something, because just from being around hip hop and
how did it end?
It just ended kind of abruptly with them talking about implicating him in the Tupac and the Biggie murders. And
That's wild.
The evidence is.
No, he did it.
The evidence is pretty crazy. Like, you could try to frame it if you want to, because obviously the doc was made by a dude who's not too friendly with Diddy, so he's not gonna paint it in a way that's gonna make him look good. But the doc wasn't all bad. It really, like, to tell the story, you have to talk about his successes. You have to talk about all the people that he worked with, all the hits that he did make. I mean, the dude was a billionaire. Like that doesn't happen by accident. But I just think there's way more to the story. They kind of barely touched on some stuff. They didn't talk about him blowing up Kid Cudi's car. They didn't talk about
Jay-Z.
The Jay-Z connection, which I think Jay-Z might get his own doc, which is kind of what Fifth was alluding to. But it's bad. It's not good. I don't think it's over. That's enough on it.
Gotta ask how you're feeling about Sunday's game. Change of topic.
So when it comes to the Chiefs, man, wrap it up. Wrap it up. I want y'all to kind of clip this one, go straight to the Joe Budden and the Migos at the award show where Budden's like, yeah, we're going to have to wrap this one up, and Quavo stands up, we'll wrap it up then. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel about the season. It's just been It's been bad. It's been really bad. And just because I guess we're spoiled now, because our team was so bad for so long, and then we got really good, and we're used to championships. We're used to excellence, and I just don't feel like we were too committed to excellence. I'm not gonna write the team off and you know what I mean, throw the jersey in the trash or anything. That's not what real fans do. That's what Cowboy fans do.
I'm joking.
But it's just the for the stars and the dogs that we have in the front seven. Our defense was so soft against the run. There was no pass rush in the secondary. We were soft against the pass. You know, just a lot of injuries. The offensive line was not whole at almost any point in time. I feel like we didn't play with the starting five for 2 consecutive games at all. You know, I'm not going to lay it at Pat's feet. I'm not going to lay it at Andy's feet or the front office. I feel like they all did what they were supposed to do, but we just got to be better. We got to play harder. I know y'all like to talk about how, you know, we got the refs in our pockets and, you know, the games are rigged and decided, but clearly it's not, because we would be back in the Super Bowl if it was.
So what happened to Pat Mahomes? Is it ACL, did I say?
I didn't see the exact breakdown. I know he was dealing with a lot of different stuff with the left knee, and then he ended up getting injured again this past Sunday. It looked like a little extension.
I think it's towards ACL.
So he's probably likely done for the season. I know the knee was already bad. The knee was not in good shape at all. And then that late hit, you know, that happened on the injury that we didn't get no flag on. There was actually we got a flag against us. There was a holding call. Who throws a holding call flag on that play where our starting quarterback gets injured on an illegal tackle? You know what I mean? That's rigged. Whenever you get done. There's pass interference on every play. There's holding on there's penalties at every play. So they pick and choose when they want to throw them. But yeah, man, it's unfortunate. Hey, on to the next one. We're gonna retool the team, shore up some spots, get that offensive line right. As long as we keep Pat upright and we protect him, and then you know do what we're supposed to do in the run game and get stops. You can't complicate the game too much. It's at the end of the day, it's if you're the offense, you got to go get points. If you're the defense, you got to stop them from getting points. But at the end of the day, it's go Chiefs. It's going to be go Chiefs until the clock stops.
So who do you think's going to go to the Super Bowl?
I don't care. I don't care, honestly. But I mean, at the end of the day, if it's not the Chiefs, I don't care. So whoever wins, fair play to you. You know what I mean? You deserved it, but don't get used to it because we'll be back next year.
Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs. And then our next topic will be Minnesota. Oh, Minnesota. What's going on in Minnesota right now? There's a lot of stuff happening. I don't know if y'all remember, not that long ago, there was a guy, rich, middle-aged Caucasian gentleman, who just decided he was going to go door to door and kill some politicians. And kind of was just, you know what I mean? He had a plan, list. And was going house to house and just capping these people. And the whole Somali situation and all the fraud and everything happening,
Is that the lunch money thing where during COVID they was planning to feed all these kids?
Yes, feeding futures of America, something of that.
Was it 3 meals a day for an entire year or something?
Yeah, they were saying they were feeding 28,000 people 3 meals a day and then getting reimbursed by the federal government, basically the taxpayers, us. And these people racked up, millions and millions of fraud. And it goes all the way to the highest offices in the state, from Tim Walz, the governor, Ilhan Omar. You know what I mean? These are all elected officials who are, they're pretty much just as responsible as people who are committing these crimes, because they're making excuses for them. They are basically empowering these people. And just like a small little manifest of kind of what has been uncovered, they've used the money so far that was supposed to be feeding all these people for a stay in an overwater villa with a private pool at the Radisson Blue Resort in the Maldives, I'm not sure. Some of the money was used to buy lakefront property in Minnesota. I wish I had a lakefront property anywhere. Pretty expensive, right? And then there's receipts showing wire transfers to China and East Africa. So these people are defrauding the government, getting taxpayer money, and sending it to China and East Africa. Why? We're not really sure. First class tickets to Istanbul and Amsterdam, a 2021 Porsche Macan, and then stacks of cash exchanged between the defendants.
So the federal government gave the Minnesota government this money, and the Minnesota government spent it on all of those things? Is that what I'm understanding?
They dispersed it to these NGOs and nonprofits and these different organizations.
And did a really bad job at covering it up, apparently.
And I guess they just believed no one would pay attention to it. And it turns out some of this money is actually tied to terrorism and being sent to Al-Shabaab, which is a terrorist organization in Somalia. Yes, Al-Shabaab. And yeah, just when you look at, the people who are the faces of Minnesota government, Tim Walz, and then Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar was broke not that long ago. I think 2019 she had a net worth of like negative $200,000, something crazy, and now she's worth $30 million 6 years later.
And her occupation is working for the federal
Working for the federal government on a modest salary of like a $200,000, something like that. Whatever congressmen or congresswomen or representatives are getting paid. So a nice salary, but still not. It doesn't. The math not math, and you shouldn't be up 30 mil. Did you get a rap deal? Did you go play for the Vikings or the Timberwolves or something we didn't know about? It's fraud, basically, at the highest of levels. Our government's corrupt. But yeah, she also married her own blood brother, so he could get citizenship. I don't know where they do that at, or how that's legal, how that works. But these are the people who are making our laws, or responsible for the free world. But yeah, Minnesota, we got to do better, man. Minnesota's the nice state. So,
Minnesota or America in general?
Yes, absolutely. America in general. But what's going on in Minnesota is crazy work. I'm sure there's fraud everywhere, but yes. Anyway, that's enough about the land of the North. This is a very interesting little piece of information that I got from Wall Street Trapper. Shout out Trap. Wall Street look like us now. I don't have any money in the stock market, but I'm probably going to start. I've been kind of just studying and doing my market research for a while now, and he mentioned this thing called the Santa Claus Rally, which historically certain sectors, the S&P 500 specifically, tend to benefit from the seasonal factors driving the phenomenon, Christmas season, people going out and spending more money. But it refers to the historical tendency for the S&P, Dow, and NASDAQ to rise during a specific day trading period, which is the last 5 trading days of December and the first 2 trading days of January. Since 1950, the S&P has showed positive returns, which means like if you buy S&P stocks, you'll get a positive return 80% of the time since 1950. So anytime you look at statistics, you want something like an 80%. You don't want the 50-50. 50 is still good. You really, even 30%. You bat 300 in the MLB, you go to the Hall of Fame. So if 30% is good, 80% gotta be some type of indicator of if you are interested in the stock market. You don't know too much about it. Now would be a good time to start playing around with it, kind of messing with it. And then also, it's like if you don't know what type of stocks to buy, why don't you buy stocks in the companies that you support? You like Timberlands, why don't you go buy some Timberland stock? You like, Mercedes or Louis Vuitton, whatever you like, you should buy stock in that. And then anytime you buy it, it's like, you're supporting that stock and you're an owner of the things that you spend money on frequently. But yes, if you are interested in the stock market, or getting some type of return for your investment, now would be the time to buy into the S&P 500. S&P 500 is the most sure investment that you can make. I want to take this time to thank our sponsor, Protocol Beard Oil. It is the #1 beard oil in DFW. It's based in Denton, minority owned, packed full of all the essential oils that you need to keep your beard moist, hydrated, and provide the growth that you need to look like the person that you need to be. People can't grow a beard. That's why you need Protocol Beard Oil.
I don't know what's in it, but it smells really nice.
Yes, it is. It's one of the best beard oils on the market. It's the only one I've ever used, the only one I plan on using. But yes, if you want any Protocol Beard Oil, please reach out to Red Pits. You can get them on IG, Snapchat. Send them a smoke signal. You can send them a telegraph. But get yourself some Protocol Beard Oil. And back to our podcast. We are new parents still. You know what I mean? Our child is 1 now. And it is the single most challenging thing I've ever done in my life. To be responsible for another human that can't take care of themselves at all. They don't understand the way of the world. They don't understand. They have no fear. They don't know danger. You know, it's humbling. You know, she's where my mind goes almost all the time. And I'm glad I have my wife here to kind of share a little bit. And because maybe there's some first-time parents out there, maybe some people who are expecting, and maybe you're either going through the same thing or you're going to go through it. So maybe you can listen to what we're going through and it can help you later. What do you think is the biggest thing you didn't expect from being a parent? The positive thing, I'm not going to say the negative thing, but what are you struggling with? What do you feel like it is?
It's a very loaded question. I feel like that's like 10 questions in one, but I guess becoming a parent teaches you how to be selfless. And I think one of the biggest shocks to me was not realizing or appreciating my free time before I became a parent. Like, I don't know what I used to do in my free time. I feel like I used to feel like I was like so busy and didn't have time to go to the gym or grocery shop or do whatever. But it's like, what did I do before I had a tiny little human to dictate my life? I'm not really sure. So I don't know. One of my biggest pieces of advice to people who do not have children yet, I think, is just to like live and experience.
Go see the world,
Yeah,
eat some
get
stuff.
outside,
You know?
explore, sleep in, take naps.
You're gonna
While
get the opposite when you have a child.
Travel the world for sure. By yourself, I would recommend travel by yourself. Figure yourself out before you settle down and have a whole other human to keep alive. But yeah, it's great. It's challenging, but it's the best thing. So.
Yeah, big same. I think the best thing about being a dad is you get to see the beginning of what's your actual legacy right in front of you, and when I have a really long day or a really crappy day, I'm dealing with some stuff, and I come home, that little baby smiles at me and says, "Dad," it melts everything. It makes it all go away. It makes it worth it. Just because it's as a man, you have to do a whole lot of kind of killing your old self, and just like she's saying, being selfless, because that doesn't come easy to us. I feel like for moms it's a little bit easier once you get pregnant. You got that bump for 9 months, but for us it's like because your old self has to die. All the selfish, all the ego, your pride, you got to put all that to the side, because there's going to be so many times throughout the process, unless you want to be a single parent, where you're going to have to balance a whole lot of other personalities. And like let's just be real. You need help. Ain't nobody self-made. Ain't nobody like. And if you say you raise the kid all by yourself, I'm gonna call cap. You know what I mean? Like it takes a village to raise any child, a successful child. And I would say that's the positive is your legacy, and the negative is it's hard to kill your old self. It's very hard because as human beings we're so selfish. It's me first. We seek comfort and we seek pleasure before anything else. And it's just a matter of you have to put that child first. You need to put your partner first, and do everything necessary to make sure your tribe is taken care of, because that's what it's about. There ain't nothing more gangster than raising some kids. You know, there's nothing cooler and more gangster than being a dad and being a family man, taking care of yours.
I think for moms, it's easy to be selfless towards your child because it's just natural. Like we're designed to do that. But it's a little hard to be selfless towards your partner. I think that's one of the biggest challenges of like being new parents and newly married, because I feel like my mindset is you're a grown adult, like get it together. Like I shouldn't have to put you first. Like
as a man, you come last. Hey, remember that to all my single guys, all my guys who not married. When you do settle down, you come last. You are not first no more, and it's like it's hard to deal with that because as a single man, you first always. Like you know what I mean? Like that's how the game goes. But we're both in the process of I've already started my own business. My wife's in the process of starting hers, and it's one of the most difficult processes I've ever been through. So I'll let you start though. What is something that you think anyone starting a business, either like a mindset shift or just a little hack that you think they might need to know, or that you wish you would have known sooner when it comes to starting a business, either like a hurdle that you dealt with or something that you didn't see coming?
I think for me, the mindset shift was big because before I met you, owning a business was like never something that crossed my mind. Like the way I was raised, I watched my parents work multiple jobs, like work overtime, work extra to like make sure that we had what we needed, and but that requires you to spend time away from home. And I think it was partly like meeting you, you're very business like minded. You don't want to work for anyone else or like waste your time working for anyone else, which I admire. But also I think part of it is becoming a mother and like having my own child and not wanting to be clocking in for 12 hours somewhere away from her. So that was the biggest mindset shift for me, is like getting into the business mindset. Like I am capable of owning a business and like not being an employee to someone else.
No, for sure. The mindset of an entrepreneur, of a hustler, it's different, and it has to be different, because if you look at our school system and the education system in this country, it is not geared toward the entrepreneur or the creator or the businessman. Yes, of course you can go to college and get a business degree, but still they're not gonna really tell you how to run a business. They're gonna give you certain systems, certain procedures, but you're not gonna really know how to use those. You're not gonna know how to apply them until you get into the field and have to use them in real time. You can get as much target practice as you want, but until you get, on the battlefield and the bullets start flying, you're not gonna know how to fight. I feel like the mindset, you gotta have that dog in you. You have to, because this stuff is hard. We all think we're gonna, create a product or a service and, register your LLC, and I'm gonna start making $1 million the first year, right? It takes about 5 years for most like 90% of businesses to turn a profit, and that's if you're lucky. And that the whole time, over 5 years, what's going through your brain? What are you thinking? Like, man, I need to go get me a job. you know what I mean? I did it wrong. I'm a failure. You know what I mean? So if you're not achieving where you want to, it's so easy to get down and want to quit and want to do something different. It's how our brains work. Like I said, we seek pleasure and seek comfort over discomfort. And yeah, people are gonna doubt you. You know what I mean? Your family ain't gonna spend with you. Your friends ain't gonna support you, and you're just gonna have to continue to strive on. And you got to remember, strangers are gonna pay your bills. That's what's gonna make your business work. People who don't know you, people who, you know what I mean, ain't been around you their whole lives, are gonna pay your bills, and that's just gotta stay in your mind. But I feel like the biggest hurdle and like kind of yo-yo, the biggest thing in business is marketing, advertising, and promotion. It doesn't matter what you do, what you're selling, what kind of, whether it's product based or service based. It does not matter what it is, as long as it's a quality product. What you're selling doesn't matter. How you sell it is what matters. What is your target audience? Who are you trying to market this product to? And then you have to speak the same language as those people. You have to actually cater to those people, because like I said, those strangers will be the ones that pay your bills. With my personal training business, early on, I had tons of clients, but I didn't realize that my price point was so low that I would be running around like a chicken with my head cut off, going from session to session, client to client, and not really making a whole bunch of money. I was busy but not productive. And I slowly had to like fire a bunch of clients so I could even get to a point where I could scale my business back up to a point where it was actually profitable. And then later on in the business, I had less clients with a higher price point. And the goal was, now I just got to scale the amount of clients I have at this price point. So that way it would be productive for me to go train these people. But yeah, that's how it is. It's an ebb and flow. You're constantly going up, constantly going down, just trying to figure out what is the best baseline for you. And then now I'm realizing that I am just a self-employed business owner. Which means it's like, yeah, I own the business, but I'm also the only employee. So if I don't work, then the business don't work, and I don't make no money. So what happens when I want to go on vacation? What happens if I get burned out? What happens if I get injured? You know, so it marketing, advertising, and promotion are the most important aspects of your business. That's why Coca-Cola, Pepsi, McDonald's, all of them. What's their biggest budget? It could be labor. You know, it's not materials. It's advertising, marketing.
You said something about like avoiding discomfort and like staying in our comfort zone or whatever. That reminded me of the message at church on Sunday that said, "How many times have I missed the wonder because I was avoiding the inconvenient?"
That's
And
facts.
that really resonated with me.
That's facts.
In a lot of aspects of life, it's like we're just so used to convenience and wanting to be comfortable and like not putting yourself out there or like taking risks and yeah,
Well,
just have some faith.
I'm glad you brought that up, because Christianity and our faith is that's a great place to look at that aspect of it, because it's almost like the modern church wants to preach, you know, that happy-go-lucky, you know, everything's gonna be all right. Just come to church and pray, and you know you gonna have whatever you need. And that's not really what the Bible says, and that's not really like how life goes. If you look at Jesus, I mean, it was Jesus' life mostly. People telling him he wasn't who he said he was, and you know, he was wrong and didn't know the word, and you know, eventually they got to a point where they realized, like, I can't mess with this dude. I got to do something else, and they strung him up on a cross and hammered nails through him and murdered him. And that was the only perfect person that ever walked the earth. So if Jesus is one of the biggest superheroes in the Bible, and that's what his life was like, if you're gonna be a follower of Jesus, guess what your life gonna be like? You probably got to get up on that cross too. So That's why I always stay stiff in adversity. Whenever the storm comes, run toward it. Run toward it. Don't run away from it. You know, it's
part of the journey.
J. Cole said it's beauty in the struggle, and even David Goggins, be comfortable being uncomfortable. Be uncommon amongst the uncommon. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. Some parting words for our sponsors. Big shout out to Butler Cuts and Styles. If you are in the Denton County area, please go check them out. They have some of the best barbers, some of the best stylists that in North Texas, period. The best pricing as well. And it ain't all about black gloves and ring lights. Like, these guys are real deal master barbers. So if you need a drop fade, you need a Jerry curl, whatever it is, reach out to Troy Butler, reach out to Red Pitts, Butler Cuts and Styles.
Oh, dang.
Until next time.